Hi guys, in today's video we are going to be continuing with the Python strings. So yesterday we went through primitive data types in Python, variables, we went through variables, and then today is the day to go through the Python strings. So what is a string in Python? So a string in Python is just a data type that is used to store text-based inputs or characters. So to begin off with a string, yesterday I showed you how to create a variable. If you have not seen that video, please go back and check that video. It is in a playlist. Go check the variables, and today we're going to talk on strings. So let me create a variable here. So the Python inventor. So I'm creating a string that will hold the inventor of Python, the creator of Python, Python creator. Let me call him Python creator. So to create a string, you either have to use double quotes or single quotes to create a string in Python. So who is the creator of Python? So the creator of Python is called Guido van Rossum. So this is a guy who created this awesome language called Python. And with just one line of code, we have a Python string. So this is a string. So the Python creator is a string. And yesterday I showed you the best practices to create your variable names. You can see mine is descriptive and concise. So descriptive and they have a meaning. So in case you come and see this variable Python creator, you instantly know what this is. So this is a descriptive variable. So in strings, what if I wanted to create something like, what if I wanted to add a quotation mark here, not a quotation mark, what if I wanted to add another quote here in Python? What if I wanted the word Guido van Rossum, the name, to have a double quote inside? What do I do? So in Python, we have this concept of escaping the characters. So by escaping a character, we use backslash. So we use a backslash to escape characters. So we just come and add a backslash here, and just like that, let's see. So and then if you escape a character, the character is displayed as it is. So let me run this file .py. Oh, I didn't print anything. Oops. So I can print Python creator. So Python creator is our string. So you can see we found the name. We found the double quote, the quote here inside. So to escape characters in Python, you use a backslash. So let's see what would happen if you didn't use a backslash. Oops. Get an error. Or let me save this file and see we get an error very fast. We get an error because we have not terminated the string. So Python thinks that the string ends here. So to show that quote, you have to use a backslash. So we also have other escape characters, like we also have another, you can see like the first line. You can see this line is grayed out. So by using a hashtag, you are saying you are writing a comment. So and a comment is not evaluated by the Python interpreter. So comments are not evaluated. So this line will never get evaluated. This is just a way to make us read the code and understand what we are doing. So maybe you wanted to write something, begin. Maybe you don't want that code to be executed. You use a hashtag to create a comment. So a comment is just a string that, not a string, it's just an expression that is not evaluated and is ignored by Python. So we have others. So you can do anything with the escape character. We have others defined. So we have the \n, which is used to create a new line. So let me try that. So come here and write a \n, save the file, and run the code again. So you can see our string was splitted into two lines. So the \n is used to create a new line. So we have talked about the \n. So the backslash is used to escape characters, maybe defined characters. Maybe you want a backslash. A backslash is a defined keyword, not a keyword. It's defined in Python. So you can just come here and what if you wanted to print a backslash? So let's see what will happen if you print a single backslash. Oops, you got a single backslash. So what if a backslash is used to escape characters in Python? So if you have a character that is predefined in Python, you use a backslash to escape that character. So the next thing we look at is formatted strings in Python. So what is a formatted string? So let's say we have first underscore name, which will be equals to Guido. Then we have last underscore name. You can see how my variable names are descriptive. So we have or sum. So what if I wanted to print these two names together? What do I do? So you can use the plus sign. The plus sign is used to concatenate variables or strings. So it's used to concatenate string. Concatenate is used to add together. So you can say first name, then use the plus sign, last name. So if we go ahead and print this one, so if we go ahead and print this one, you see the names have been joined. So to add a space, you can just add a space as a string and concatenate that to the last name. So by doing this, you get the first name, you add it to a string which is a space, and then add to the last name. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's readable, but in Python we have a more concise way of doing concatenation. So what do? We have this concept of a formatted string. So a formatted string is a string that allows us to add values inside it. So formatted strings are concise and readable. So the format is like this. So we can say full name, full underscore name is equals to, you start with the F keyword and then the quotes. So inside the quotes, if you have an expression that needs to be evaluated, what is an expression? So an expression is just a piece of code that can be evaluated. So an expression is a piece of code that returns a value. So what do we do here? To return an expression, you use curly brackets inside the formatted string with the quotes. So here we can say first name, and then we can say last name. This one will give us the same result. So if you come here and print full name, we should get the same thing. So what is a formatted string? A formatted string is just a string that allows us to add dynamic values into a string. So you can see this is a space, this will be evaluated as a space, but inside the curly brackets, whatever is inside here will be evaluated. So the interpreter will come and say, okay, we need the first name, then comes and evaluates the first name and returns the string Guido. So let's see what we get. So we get the same result, but the formatted strings are quite concise and easy to read. Okay, we also have another way to write the formatted strings, which says, let me write the second underscore full underscore name, which is equals to, so you add your curly brackets. I want to put a value there, I want to put another value, and then finish off and do the format. You do the dot format. So let me introduce a concept called methods. So what is a method? A method is simply a function that is defined, a function that is defined in an object. What is an object? An object represents key value pairs in programming languages. So we can have, maybe in Python they are called dictionaries, but we'll get to that later. So you can say something like person is equals to, so an object represent key value pairs. You can say name. What is the name? Name is Guido. And then we can have a method here. Let's say calc underscore age. So I'm trying to make concise and more readable variable names which are easier to read, descriptive, and they are meaningful. You can see calc age is, you can already guess that calc age is used to calculate an age. So we can do this as a function. So if we have a function inside the key, let's say okay, you can do def, no, calc underscore age. Okay, we'll get to dictionaries later. I don't want to confuse you with more jargon words, but what it does, what the dot format is doing, the dot format is a method inside an object, and to access a method inside an object you use the dot format. So in Python everything is an object, functions are objects, we have classes, but we'll get to that when you get to object oriented Python. So the dot format, you format the name, you have included what you wanted. So this is what we want. We want to replace what is here and what is the second. And note this one, the order is very crucial. So we want to replace the first name and you separate with a comma and then do the last name. So this is another way to write formatted strings in Python. So if we save this and go back to our function, oh, I didn't print the so I need to print the second underscore full underscore name. So we get the same results. Very easy. Okay, so I hope you got that point on formatted strings in Python. So let me clear up a bit so that we can have some room to work on. Okay, let's move forward to, we have said that we have, in strings we have methods, and methods are simply functions that helps us to do, these are inbuilt functions. So since we are talking about strings, we have inbuilt, we have said we have the dot format, we can format a string. We have others. So if you do Python create a dot, you can see all those methods. We have the dot format, we have looked at these. We have the capitalize, we have the case fold, center, count, ends with, find. So we can look at one. Let's look at, there's a method called upper. So these methods return a new string. So let me show you. Formatted str is equals to Python creator dot upper. We can come here and print Python creator, and then below that we print formatted string. So these methods return new strings. So what does return new strings do? Okay, so let me remove this one. Okay, you can see the dot upper, this is a method that uppercases all the characters in a string. By uppercasing means that makes all the characters into uppercase, but it does not affect the previous one. So let me try running this one below here. It returns a new string, so that's a key point to take away. You can see we capitalized the no we changed the string into uppercase, but the previous string was not touched. So we have more methods. We have the dot upper, so we can print. The key point to take away is that they return a new string. They do not affect the previous string. So if we try printing the formatted string, so we have looked at the upper. We have more methods. We have the dot lower. So this one, as you can guess, this one lowercases all the strings in the given string and returns a new string. So if you try to do, you can see everything now is in lowercase. We have more. You have all these methods, you can do whatever you want with them. We have the title, which title cases the string. So let me remove the title casing here. Let me do like this, save, then run the file. So everything is in title case. By title case, every word is first letter. Every word's first letter is converted into uppercase. We have more methods. We have like the strip. So the strip method removes, you can see here, returns a copy of a string with leading and trailing white spaces removed. So the leading white spaces are removed. This one is useful when dealing with inputs from a user. So let's print the formatted. Let me save and print the formatted string once more. These are easy things to do. You can see the white spaces are gone. But if we did not strip this one, let's see what we get. Oops, we got, you can see this indentation. You can see it is indented. So that means these methods act on the given string and do something with them. We have seen the uppercase, we have seen the lower, we have seen the title, and we have the strip. We also have a method called .find. What is .find? So you can see the Python is descriptive. By doing the .find, everyone can know, you are looking for something. So if you try doing .find, so the .find returns the index. Let me return this as it was so that not to bring errors. So the .find returns the index of the given character in a string. Let's see, returns the lowest index in S where substring sub is found. So let's say we want to check for Van. You can see we have Van here, and also note that Python is case sensitive. So that means if I use a capital V here, it won't match anything. So let's see what we get. You can see we have index 6. Let's come and count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see it found a match. What if it does not find a match? Let's see. This will be very nice. So if it does not find a match, it returns -1. So meaning it didn't find anything to use. We also have another method called .replace. You can see we have it here. The .replace takes in the string to the character to replace and then what to replace with. Yeah, easy. We want to replace the word van with let's say vehicle. Let's try something. So what does the .replace do? The .replace takes in the first. So let me talk about the inputs, the what you provide to a function. This is a function. We are calling it a method because it is defined in an object. And objects in Objects are classes, functions. So this is a method in a function. What does a method do? This method takes in whatever is given into a function is called an argument. Okay? Whatever is given into a function is called an argument. We'll come to see this when we come to deal with functions. Whatever is given, the actual values given to a function are called arguments. But the placeholders are called parameters. So let me show you really quick. Let's say we have a function called greet, which takes in a string and returns the string. This is a stupid return. This is a stupid function. It takes in a string and returns a string. So whatever we provide into the greet function, so str at this point, str is a parameter. Str is a parameter, and whatever we provide into that function, whenever we call that function, calling a function is called invoking the function. Is like, hey, I need you to do something for me. I created you, but I need you to do something. So let's say we want it to greet, to return the name of the Python creator, Guido. So the actual value I've provided here is called the argument, but this is just like the placeholder. You can see even the VS Code is highlighting. This is a parameter. They're just like placeholders for the actual value. So the actual value is called an argument, but the placeholder is called a parameter. So the reason I'm showing you that is because I want to explain what we are providing here. So the first argument we provide to the dot replace function is what to replace, and then the second is what to replace with. So let's try running this code. Let me first save it. The code is saved. So Guido vehicle Rosam. We had Guido van Rossum here, but after replacing the van with the vehicle, we found vehicle Rosam. So let me quickly add autosave here. I'm really tired to save. So that was briefly what I was talking about. We have, what if you want to check if something exists in a function, in a string, not a function. So we can do something like Python, no, we don't need a new to create a new variable. We can still do here Python creator here we can say, no, we can say is one in Python creator. So this is just like English. So the in operator is used to check the existence of a given string or a given character in a string. The in operator, print one in Python creator. What do you think will happen? We have one in the Python creator. So by doing one in Python creator, we expect to find a true value. Yesterday we talked about booleans, either true or false. So let's see what we get here. Yes, one is in, you can still read it as one is in Python creator, one in Python creator. Yes. So if one is in Python creator, what do you get? True. We also have another value called not. So we can say one not in Python creator. Is that true or false? One is in Python creator, but what about this expression? One not in Python creator. So the easiest way to learn this is to first evaluate this one. So one in Python creator, true. Not true, false. Yes, because this expression is false. One is in Python creator, but we are saying one not in Python creator. So that's another operator we are using, which is basically they are used to make decisions. Maybe if a person is logged in, do this. If the person has permissions, do this. Yes. So we found that. So the next thing is to, what is an expression really? I've heard me saying that this is an expression. So expression is a piece of code that produces a value. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna look at today on the Python strings is we have more methods. You can go and check out the more methods. You see we have the capitalize, the center, the count, which is used to count characters, the format, the index of a character, light strip, replace. So I'm just showing you the commonly used methods. Then the rest you can go and look at them. Or maybe if you have a specific one you would like us to go through, you are welcome to show us. So we have a concept called slicing. What is slicing? So slicing is removing a part of a string and doing something like excluding something. Yeah, chopping off. That's the meaning of the string. So how do you chop off something from a string? The easiest way is, so what you do is use a, this is called the indexing operator. This is called indexing. So if you want to get an item at a given index, you can use the indexing. You can use, so this string indexing. So let me print this and so that we can be on the same page. You can index, you can see the indexes of a string start from 0. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what if I want to know who is at index 0? You also know how to note that indexing starts at 0 in programming languages. So if I do at string 0, if I do a string 0, I can get G, Guido. If I do at index 9, I don't know what is at index 9, I just want to look. What is at index 9? It didn't show me anything. What's... Oh, index 9, we have an empty space. So this is called indexing. Now, what is slicing? By slicing, uses this format. You specify like you are indexing, but when indexing, you specify the start, the end, and the step. So let me briefly explain what this is doing. So we have the start. Where are you starting to exclude? Where do you want to start? Where do you want to end? And the step means how will I jump over? Like let's say the step is 2. So in every 2 character, I will provide you with the character. So it will step over, step over, step over. So let's look at this. Let's say we want like from index 2. There's also a key point to note here. The end index. So the end index is not included. So the end index is never included. So I want from index 2 to index 5. But so it will start at index 2, including index 2, but exclude index 5. So that's what we call slicing. So let's go to index 2, index 0, index 1, index 2. Index 2 we have I. We go to index 3, we have D. We go to index 4, we have 0. Index 5 is an empty space. And also the end index is not included. So let's say we want to up to index 10, but we want to step twice. So you take one step, take one step. So you can see at index 2 we took I, we stepped twice. So 1, 2, we took O. Step again twice. 1, 2, we took V. Step again twice. 1, 2, we get N. So this is what we call stepping. Okay, so there's also a syntax used like this where you exclude the first indexing. You exclude the first index. When you exclude the first index, the Python interpreter will assume that you want to index from the start. So what do you get? You get Guido van. So it will assume that, hey, this guy wanted to start at index 0. What happens if you exclude the last index? If you exclude the last index, it will assume that you wanted to go all the way until the last character. So let's see. So hey, we got Ido van Rossum. So this indexing, how it is working, if you exclude the last index, it will assume that you wanted to go all the way to the end. So you can assume that, and then still you can step wherever you want. You can step. You see, you are stepping over twice. We also have a syntax whereby this one is commonly used to reverse strings. We have the negative indexing. What if I want the last character? So the M here is called -1. We start at -1. So M is -1, U is -2, S is -3. So this is called negative indexing. What if I do -1? -1 will get the last character. So we got the M. This one is called negative indexing. So let me write here negative indexing. So this is what is called negative indexing. And you can use negative indexing to slice. I want from -5 to -1. You can still step if you want to, but I don't want to. So you can still step. So let's run this. So what is happening? We start at index -5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. -5 is O. And then we go all the way to -1. But remember we said that the end index is not included. So the -1 will never be included. So what do we get? We get also. What if I omit the last index? So let's see. Hey, it assumes that I wanted to index all the way. So that's how powerful and easy it is. So we have an exercise here. I omit the first index, I omit the second index, but I add the step to be -1. What will happen? These are food for thought. What will happen? So when we omit the first index, it assumes we are starting from the start. Okay? We omit the second index. Yes. So we want to go all the way from the start to the end. But we want to start from the end. We want to step backwards. So this one is called backward. We want to go backward. Why do we know we want to go backward? So because step 1, if you do that, it will start from, let's say we start with this one, it will start from 0 all the way to the last, but stepping with 1. So what will it do? Let's see what it is doing, because it is very wrong to write things that we don't know what is happening. So it will start at index 0, go all the way to the last index. What is it happening? So it will start at index 0, and then we have said the step is 1. So it will start at index 0 and come and add that index here. So it will start at 1. It will start at 1. It will take the first character, step once, go to index 1, take. So at the end, oh, this one should be commented out so that you can see. Not like that. I want to add a comment here. Yes. So let me run this very fast, very fast. Time is going. We didn't have to go all the way. So what is happening? We said start at 0, end at the last character, but step once. What is this stepping once doing? It is taking the first character. So we omitted the first character. So it took that character, and the first character's index is 0. Took that index, came here and took the first G. Then stepping is adding. So it adds 1 to 0, which becomes 1. So we go to index 1, we step all the way until the last one. What happens if you add -1? Yes, so we omitted the first character. So it assumes, hey, you want to start from the first character. Then when starting, let's see what happens. Eish. So when starting, instead of adding 1, it subtracts 1. So this one is simply used to reverse characters, reverse strings. To reverse a string, do something in a reverse order. So start at -1. So it will come here and start at -1. Okay, so it will start at, let's try adding 2 here and see. I want to explain so that you can understand what is happening here. So I wanted to, let me try again. Shouldn't it be, oh, okay, so it is stepping. So what is happening? We take the first character, which is at index 0, then we add 2, we go like that, adding until the last item. So when we do the negative indexing, we are still, instead of adding 1, we are subtracting 1. Okay, so we start at index 0. No, we don't start at index 0. We start at index -1. Then we didn't, okay, so we start at -1. Then we went all the way back. So this one is what we call the negative indexing. So we get something like Musa nav something. Okay. Okay, so we have looked at negative indexing, which reverses a string by starting indexing from the last character. So to wrap up this topic, we'll do some exercises here. We'll do some exercises, and we'll start with the first one, and then I'll leave the last one to you to do as an exercise. Then if you have successfully done it, you'll add it to the comment section, and then I'll find it, and then I'll be glad that someone is taking steps into learning Python. Okay, so let me do this. Let me take this one and take there, add another one and another one. So this one is called multi-line commenting. So we have previously talked about single line. This is a comment, is a call. So this is a comment. So by using the triple quotes, you can add multi-line comments. So that means this whole text here, this whole string is not evaluated, it's ignored. So let's go through the problem statement and see how we can apply what we have learned now to solve this problem, because as a developer your work will be solving problems. So let's start. So you have to read and understand what is happening. So write a Python program to get a string made of the first character and the last two characters of a given string. Write a Python program. I'm supposed to write a Python to get a string, okay? Should get a string that is made up of the first two characters, the first two. So you get the first two and the last two characters of a given string and return them. So if the string is less than 2, so we have to guard this, return the empty string instead. Okay, so the sample is W3 resource. Yeah, let's and then the expected result is W3, the first two characters and the last two characters. So it will be W3 CE. If you provide it with a two-lettered word, it will take the first two characters, which is W3, then take the last two, which also are W3, because at the last two we said index 9 minus 2 and index minus 1. We have talked about string slicing. Then if there's less than 2, we return an empty string. Okay. So let's do this. So what we have to do, we want to print something to the screen. So by using the print function, print is also a function, inbuilt function that prints something into the console. So later on I'll show you how to use methods, which not methods, they are functions, to write reliable code. Okay, so we can still use functions. It's very easy to declare a function. You use the def keyword and then the name of the function, then what is expected inside. But yeah, let me show you that. It's not a big deal. We can say first, last, two. I'm trying to be descriptive here, which takes in a string. So a function To create a function is very easy. A function is just like a set of instructions that are kept somewhere, and then you can easily call that function and provide whatever you want. So we said this one is a parameter, a placeholder for the actual values that will be passed to the function. So a parameter will be is just a placeholder. So I'm showing how to create functions. Even though we are into strings, yeah, functions are inevitable. So use the def keyword, define def, then define the name of the function. A function, we said a function is a set of instructions that will be used at a later day, not a day but later. You can still use the function, but the function won't be evaluated. Whatever you write here, we must call that function for it to evaluate something. It's just like a place to hold your code and then use it at a later stage. Yes, we need a function, but we still don't. I don't want you to get bothered with function. So we can still print. So what do you want to do? I taught you about formatted strings. We want, let me still use a function like first, last, and two. It takes in a string. So a function takes in something and returns something. Yeah, just like the way you go to a shop and give a shopkeeper some money and then he gives you something. That's how functions work, right? So what do we want to do here? We want to return something. By returning something, I'm saying, hey, you gave me this, I want to return this. You can also not give something to a function. It can return something. It can still not return something. It can still print. Yes? Okay, so let me stop telling you about functions. I'll show you functions later. So we can say uh, to underscore extract is equals to w3 resource. Okay, then we want to print the first two and the last two. So we can say here we have been told here that if the length is less than 2, return an empty string. Okay, so we can say if, let me stop. So we want to look at the if length, the decision making. Let's just extract the first character and the last characters because we have not gotten into Python showing the making decision using Python. So what we can do here, we want just to print. So we talked about formatted strings because we want to we want to print something based off something. So we need, so the formatted strings allows us to add curly brackets, but inside the curly bracket you can add an expression that will be evaluated. So use an f string. We talked about this. This is an f string. Then what do we want? We said that you should return the first two characters and the last two characters. So we can use array indexing here to get the first character and the second character. So the first character is at index 0, the second character is at index 1, the last character is at index -1, the second last character is at index -2. So what do? We come here and say to exact give us the character at index 0, to exact give us a character at index 1. I hope you are following. Then to exact give me the character at, because we should start with the -2 character, the one that is in -2, because we'll pick the C is at -2. I showed you that we use that syntax to get that, and then we want to get to extract at index -1, as simple as that. So what if we run this code? Let's see what we can get. So Python, and by the way, if you don't have Python installed, go to python.org, install Python, then you have Python installed. I'm using VS Code. You can still use whatever you want. You can still use the browser, the online sandbox. You can do whatever you want. So I use Python here in my terminal. Didn't we get what we are supposed to get here? So this is very easy. You can see we have W3CE, W3CE. So what are we doing here? The indexing gets us the character at a specific index. So we call the to extract, give us at index 0, give us at index 1, then give us at -2, which is means the second last character, which is what we want, and then to extract -1. Okay. So later on, I'll show you how to make decisions, because you can see here we're supposed to return an empty string if we find an error. So that's the first problem that we're supposed to solve. Let's move on to the second one and then solve it, and then we can wrap the things off. So what is this problem saying? No, I don't want to do that. So yeah, so I'll review the third option to use. I'll add a link to the gist files in the comment section of the exercises. You can go through the exercises. Okay, let me return my solution here. Let's say there, let it stay there, so that in case someone needs, I just share in the comment section, then you can go through. So right, okay, so write a Python program to get a string from a given string where all occurrences of its first character, so we get the first character, all occurrences of its first character have been changed to a $sign except the first character itself. So we get a restart. So we take the first character and check if there is more occurrences of the first character, and then replace that with the $sign. This one is easier. I showed you the how to go about this. So what we can do, we can just print, because we have not learned more about functions, so that we can return values. So what are we supposed to do? We can't print directly. So what we need to do is we need to get the sample string, which is equals to restart. Then we can grab the character at the first. You see here we are told occurrences of the first character. So the first thing we need is the first character. So we can say first underscore char is equals to, how do we get the first character? This is a simple question. How do we get a first character of a string? So you call the variable and then give us the first character. The first character is always at index 0. So if we get that, then here we have a key point that we have to check off. Except the first character, we're not supposed to replace the first character. So what do? I have taught you about string slicing. Slicing, we said, is taking a part of a string. So what do? We can say sliced str is equals to, we said the dot replace returns a new string. So we can assign the return of that dot replace to a new variable. So this is a variable. Whatever will be returned by the dot replace, we'll add it, we'll assign it to the sliced string. So what do? We take our sample string and then we slice it from index 1. By starting from index 1, so we have omitted the first character. So the first character won't be replaced. So we get that the first index all the way. We can say that you can leave out the stop index and then it will go all the way. Then we call the dot replace. So sample string, so this one returns a new string. Then we call the dot replace on that new string, and then the dot replace returns yet another new string, which we assign its value to the variable sliced string. So we call the dot replace. Remember how we did the dot replace? You can see here we are getting some hints. We need the odd string, not the odd string. Yes, the odd string can be a string. The odd character. What do we want to replace? We want to replace the first character. By calling the first character here, we are not getting the actual we are just getting the first character. In this case, we are getting the R. So we want to replace any, so this first character will be replaced with R, and then you want to replace it with the dollar sign. Whenever you get an R, replace it with the dollar sign, but we have still omitted the first character. I hope you're getting this. I would like to know in the comment section what you guys think about this. So we get the sliced string. So the sliced string does not have the first character, but it has repeated characters based off the first character replaced with a dollar sign. So what do? We come here and print. I talked about formatted strings. We talked about concatenating strings. We can use the formatted string syntax. What do you want? Here we want the first character and then the sliced string. This one actually should be called sliced underscore replace string. So this is what we came up with. So sliced string does not have the first character because we started at index 0 indexing, and then we replaced any character that matches the first character with a dollar sign, and then we used a formatted string. We talked about a formatted string. The formatted strings allows us to add expressions into a string dynamically, which means this one will be evaluated. So this is what will happen. What is the first character? It will come here and say, hey, the first character is sample string at index 0. It will rush and take the first character R and put it here. Comes and evaluates the try string and does the same thing. So what if we print the final result? So let me clear this. What did we get? We got the restart with the first character occurrences. Next occurrences of the first character replaced into a dollar sign. Yep. So that was a nice one. So we did the first one, strings. You are supposed to do the last, this one. So let me read out this one for you. So write a Python program to get a single string from two given strings separated by a space and swap the first two characters of each string, sample string ABC XYZ. Then we swap these first two and these first two, swap them together and get something else. So this one is up to you. I'll add this one into a gist file so that you can go through it and see whether you can tackle it. I would like to know in the comment section. Whoever does that, yep, that's good. And also have a great day, and see you in the next video. Thank you.